nice and cozy. Now we just need to do some furniture shopping. Hey, what's happening everybody? I'm Kevin Johnson. Thanks for joining me here at Midwest Woodcraft. Well, the good news is I was out this morning, I got that furniture shopping done. I found us a really awesome vintage chair for the campsite. Bad news is there's quite a bit of assembly required. But we're not going to need any cordage for that, just a little bit of sweat, a little bit of carving, and we'll have that chair built straight away. The first time I ever built this chair was down at Craft Outdoors, at Appalachian Bushcraft class. I'd like to thank Mr. Jason Hunt and Mike Denny, my good buddies, for teaching me this chair. I've built quite a few since then, and it always just seems like a really awesome addition to the campsite whenever you get a campsite set up. So stick with me, and we'll go over how to make that right now. Okay, so as far as the components go here, we have these four kind of medium length logs here. The smaller diameter stuff are going to be the backrest. As far as the length goes here, these are about belly button high on a 5'9" redneck. So these are going to actually stand up vertically and your back is going to rest on these. These two smaller pieces here are the legs. They're going to go underneath this larger log here. This large log is the base. So this is going to be actually what holds most of the weight of everything. So you want this to be larger than the rest of it and fairly heavy. It doesn't have to necessarily be this big, but please keep in mind that your legs are going to sit under here, and then you're going to have your base, and then these two rails here, these longer pieces, are going to be the rails, and so that's going to make up how high your seat is. So if you don't want to be stooping way down on the ground like this, then you're going to want this stuff to be a little bit bigger. If that doesn't matter to you, you can make it quite a bit smaller. And then finally, the last piece I have here is going to be the back support. And that's going to go right in here somewhere. And we're actually going to notch these two rails here. Use either the saw or the axe for that. That piece is going to go down into them notches, and then that's going to kind of support everything. And that way, you don't need any cordage for this. Okay, after getting down here and looking at this, I realized I forgot my butt pieces, or my actual seat here. But that's okay, we'll get those as soon as we're done with this. I just kind of wanted to get everything staged up here and set up the way I like it, and get these notched out here where I have plenty of room. And then whenever we get everything done, we'll actually assemble it over here closer to the hammock, so we can kind of enjoy it around the fire and around camp and stuff. So, what I have here is I have my base sitting on the ground. I'm going to go ahead and put my legs underneath there. And these legs, you know, they probably don't need to necessarily be this big, just what I had. But you want a nice legs underneath there. What that's going to do is when we put these underneath here and all this goes together, that's going to keep this base from wanting to go forward when you put all the weight on everything. So, got our legs underneath there, and we got our rails sitting up here. You may notice I have them in a V formation. You don't have to do that. You can have them straight out like this. That works fine. You're just going to have a wider backrest. You're going to need more material for that, which is no big deal. I saw a guy make it like this here a while back, and I just really like the way it looks, so that's how I've been doing it. Then what we're going to do is we need to find our back support piece, and we need to kind of get our distance of how we want our backrest. So I'm going to stick them in there and kind of get the angle that I want, and I'm going to get kind of the angle that I want here. Get that set where I want it. Right there looks pretty good to me. Make some marks here with my knife where I want my notches. And then we're just going to cut some notches in here. If you're more comfortable using your saw, use your saw. I like to make these fairly deep. There on that knot, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but that's alright. It'll work. For these pieces for the seat, I'm using some young black locusts, and before they get the thorns on the branches as they're maturing, they do have thorns on the trunk. So I'm going to have to make sure I get those off of there, because that could be a pain in the butt. I got the butt pieces! Okay, so we got everything moved over to where it's going to be. As you can see by my notches here, they don't have to be anything special. Just make sure they're plenty deep enough to lock this in. I know you can do better than that. And then you take your back pieces, and I'm going to scoot these back just a little bit. So you can see what's happening here when you put this back piece on here. When you sit down here and lean your back on it, that's going to push this back support down into that notch. You can see it's kind of moving my log right now. That's what this base is for. This end down at the bottom end is going to be pushing this way up against your base. The top end's pushing back this way against your back support, and that's locking everything in place. The friction in this notch is holding everything together. Looks like I'm going to get away with 3 pieces for the backrest here. Slide them in there. seat in. So it's not going to win any beauty pageants, but it should be functional. One thing I'm noticing is the rail on this side, I think I mentioned it earlier, is a smaller diameter than on this side over here. And that's kind of making it a little off center. Plus the ground might be a little off there. I'm going to take on this side, I'm going to replace the leg underneath with a bigger piece. Just kind of raise this end up a little bit, make it a little more level. Okay, so there's only one thing left to do. That's give it the patented butt test. Hopefully she works better than she looks, huh? Yeah, that ain't bad at all. Feels pretty good, man. Got my sun lounging chair. Oh yeah. I like a higher back. Some guys will make them shorter, which is fine, however you like it, but I like a higher back. I don't really like the angle of the back, so I am going to work with that a little bit, get it a better angle for me, but I really like it, man. Nice and solid. You can see we're not having a whole lot of moving around and stuff when I wiggle on it. Be a nice little addition to camp. So just like most things that you build out in the woods, sometimes you're going to need to make adjustments, and that's okay. If you build this chair and it don't work out quite right the first time, then that's fine. Try it again, or there's a few things you can do. If your balance and everything isn't quite right, and you're finding that the back of this wants to lift up off the ground, I've seen guys just bury them down in the ground or throw a log on there. I've taken and made like tent stakes and staked them down. You know, so if that's happening, then there's always workarounds. Don't be afraid to just kind of improvise and overcome on that. Maybe try cutting your notches a little bit deeper if this stuff all wants to wiggle around a little bit. Use a heavier base log maybe. Maybe flatten out the top of your legs. I've had to do that before because it just seemed like on the bark it wanted to slide or something like that. So I've had to actually carve a flat spot in the top of them legs before. Just a lot of different adjustments you can make. Now I was saying that this was leaned back too far. I've adjusted it up a little bit. I'm going to show you how I did that. It's real simple. All you got to do, if I wanted to recline this backwards, I would just simply scoot these logs back, these two rails back. The farther the gap is between this base log and your backrest here, or your back support, then the more it's going to lean back. I wanted it more forward, so I'm going to take and just lean them pieces forward more. And that's going to give me a straighter backrest. That's a lot better. I really appreciate you guys coming along with me for this video on the Friction Fit camp chair. It's a really fun camp project. Just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, but the results are really awesome. This one turned out great. Really happy with it. It's not going to win any beauty contests, like I said, but plenty functional. It's a nice addition to camp here. So hopefully you liked the video. If so, click like, hit subscribe, give us a comment down below. I always really love hearing what you have to say. I'm Kevin. Thanks for watching Midwest Woodcraft. Hope to see you guys in the woods real soon.